Hey everybody, welcome back to the Huddle, the Review.com's weekly high school sports show. I'm Executive Editor Rob Toder of the Alliance Review, joined as always by Mike Brown, Sports Editor of the Review. And today we're going to take a look back at an eventful, if nothing else, Week 9 of the high school football season. And Mike, I guess we got to start with that showdown at Arlington. Really a tale of two halves. West Branch really coming on strong, and behind Brendan Wells, 356 yards, a school record. They stunned the Arlington Dukes 35-14.
Yeah, it really was something. I mean, you hate to see DeMonte Thomas go down. You know, the last play of the first half, he goes down, and we certainly hope for a speedy recovery. I'm not sure how that's going to play out as far as the injury, but West Branch took full advantage of that, and they were playing well even before that injury happened. They were marching up and down the field. And then took care of the business in the second half, had 3 straight scores, and that pretty much tilted everything to their advantage, and they won that game going away 35-14.
A lot of ebbs and flows in that game. Arlington, first or second possession of the game, inside the 5-yard line of West Branch, and they fumbled the ball away. That was a huge turnaround in momentum. West Branch had a chance to have the lead right before halftime and couldn't convert a field goal. But they got the ball to start the second half, and it seemed to be like whoever, with West Branch, had the momentum being tied because they were clearly the underdog in that game. And if they could come out in the second half and get the lead, that was going to really play into their favor, which is exactly what they did. And then they got the kickoff. Arlington fumbled the ensuing kickoff. West Branch got the ball inside the 20 and scored again. But DeMonte Thomas, let's talk about him because he's such a huge factor in any game. Offensively, of course, but I think defensively in that game, because he's such a dominating presence on defense. They move him around a lot. You could tell West Branch really smelled blood in the water, and when with him not in there, they really took the momentum on that game.
Right. As good as he is on offense, I think he's even better defensive player. Obviously, you know, he's going to Michigan on a defensive scholarship. And he means so much to that team. And I think the other thing that's happened this year, Rob, in the NBC, is because a lot of the teams are fairly similar talent-wise, that I think a lot of the individual games have come down to matchups. And West Branch matched up well with Arlington. They're 2 big run-first mentality kind of teams. And when Thomas went out of the game, I think that really weighed heavily in West Branch's advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you take West Branch's best defensive player out of the lineup and see how the Warriors would fare.
And that happened early in the year when Brendan Wells was out for West Branch. They lost 2 ball games. When he was out early in the year, they lost to Streetsboro, they lost to New Philadelphia. And now he's back, and now they're rolling. So, you know, these individual players mean so much to these teams. Yeah,
absolutely. Another team that's really been coming on strong as of late, especially offensively, the Alliance Aviators, and another impressive win down at Minerva Friday night.
Absolutely. Like I said a couple weeks ago, that team has matured offensively and defensively, but especially offensively. I mean, they're rolling. They could throw the ball, they could run the ball, and I tell you what, they're a tough out for anybody who plays them right now.
Yeah. Also in the NBC over the weekend, Louisville went to Salem and kept the Quakers winless 43-26. And Carrollton edging Canton South 21-20. Well, Canton South is one of those young teams that you don't know who's going to show up from week to week.
Right. And again, that's a matchup thing there. You know, Carrollton is a run-first kind of team. Canton South is a passing team. And obviously the run-first kind of team, that mentality won out Friday night.
Now another team playing really well, and they're headed for the playoffs, is St. Thomas, and they got a 3-touchdown win over Northwest 34-13. The Knights keep rolling right along.
They have been probably the most, along with Arlington, up until last Friday night, they've been the most consistent area team we've had this year. They've had very few ups or downs. They've been very consistent. They've got the good offense. They play the good defense, and I think they're going to be a quality playoff team.
Yeah, Division 5, of course, that big monster in Division 5 is Youngstown Ursuline, and they're in the playoffs. So that's going to skew a little bit of how everybody looks at that region. But St. Thomas, you take Ursuline out of the equation, Aquinas has probably got as good a shot as anybody.
Yeah, that's a really good playoff region, too, when you look at Kirtland and Ursuline and St. Thomas Aquinas and Cleveland Cuyahoga Heights. I mean, that is a tremendous small school region.
That's a really
great games.
The team that comes out of that region is going to be a state title contender, no question about it. Inter-Tri-County League, Western Reserve keeps rolling along, and they actually clinched the outright ITCL Tier 2 championship. They went down to Wellsville and won 41-7, and with Columbiana's loss on Friday night, the Blue Devils have won 7 in a row, and they're ITCL champions yet again.
Right. Andy Hake, I just, like I said it so many times before, great young coach. You know, I think Tiger Laverty at Kirtland and Andy Hake at Western Reserve are 2 of the best small school football coaches in the state of Ohio. These guys could be successful at any level. You know, the schools they have are very fortunate to have these guys, and these guys want to stay there. They love what they're doing, and their programs have really benefited from that.
Think about concerns about Andy Hake. He's just such a low-key guy on the sidelines. You know, I mean, you never know what he's thinking.
I love to watch that guy. He is just—there's just so much energy there with him.
Yeah, and I think the players feed off of that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also in the ITCL on Friday night, Sebring remained winless. They took it on the chin to Lowville, 54-7. United rolled along. They defeated Jackson Milton, 56-21. Now in the the Portage Trail Conference, Southeast, a big showdown with Mogadore. They came up a little short, 30-19.
Yeah, they played Mogadore tough, and Mogadore is the #1 team in the state. Southeast played them well. Again, Southeast is not out of it yet. It's going to be pretty tough to make the playoffs, but they need to go out and take care of business Friday night and then let the chips fall as they may. Yeah.
Also in the Portage Trail Conference, Waterloo edged out by Garrettsville Garfield 13-12. So that's a look back at Week 9. We hope you enjoyed the games. Reminders, check out thereview.com. We have video highlights of a couple key games from last week. Also, make sure to play Pigskin Picks every week in the review. You can pick up a copy of Monday's newspaper, fill out your form, and you can win some great prizes there. And also, make sure you check out the Review daily, the print edition. We'll have coverage of high school football every day this week. It's a big Week 10 coming up. It's rivalry week. And also check out thereview.com. Especially on Friday night, we'll have all the scores, highlights, and we'll let you know where your favorite team is headed for the playoffs. So at least unofficially, of course, until the OHSA comes out with the official pairings next Sunday afternoon. But check out thereview.com all weekend, and we'll have all that up-to-date information for you. So hopefully we'll see you at a game on rivalry week.